Good morning, Facebook. We are seconds from formally kicking off the broadcast, but welcome this morning. Glad to have you with us as we celebrate the week of Texas independence. Thursday was Texas Independence Day.
I know, that was great. When did the Alamo fall?
That will be Monday.
Welcome to
March
the Veterans
6th.
Impact Show, where we continue the mission of highlighting veterans and service organizations who continue to serve our community and our nation. We're brought to you by Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Don't worry, retire happy. Welcome aboard.
We have a new recording coming in, Jim. I think that worked perfectly.
Oh, good. Well, welcome aboard. What a great day we've got. I need to say this to keep the attorneys off my back. My NMLS number is 311548 and Fairway is 2289, and Fairway contributes heavily to this. And Fairway also has a veterans initiative, the American Warrior Initiative, that provides service dogs. We're about to give our 300th service dog to a veteran. And
outstanding stuff.
Outstanding. So I just want to say thank you. And Chuck Wright, great Marine, helicopter pilot. You know, the fact that you have 2-inch glasses and you got air sick, how did you ever fly a helicopter?
That story wasn't supposed to go out to the entire universe.
Okay.
Yes, I am one of the oddest helicopter pilots going. But enough about me. First, I want to say thank you to our great producer, Nathaniel Smith, who's here running the show on StreamYard this week.
Boy, that StreamYard's a great deal.
This has been so much better, and we are coming to you. And if you're looking at your screen, you're going, what in the world? Where are they sitting in front of? We are in the ready room of the USS Midway. Very proud to say that I have bounced on the Midway. It is now a floating museum in San Diego. It is even better than the Intrepid in New York, and it is really cool. Speaking of Gus Cabarcas' hometown, and I got to tell you, I am so excited for this show. We are talking to two absolutely great people that represent an organization that I have admired since I first heard about them.
Well, let's introduce them. Let's start with Megan. Good morning and welcome aboard. And Gus Cabarcas, welcome and coming aboard. Everybody can see you, man. You guys look great. Tell us a little bit about your organization, Combined Arms, and all of the member organizations that you're working with and involved in, and how people can join in.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having us. So we work for a nonprofit organization called Combined Arms. We're a veteran and military family focused organization based out of Houston, but we serve on a national level to anyone that happens to come across our site and need help. But the gist of it, to get us going, is we created a network of best-in-class veteran service providers. Those are nonprofits, those are education institutions, different government institutions that are all focused on serving veterans, military families, regardless of current active or reserve or veteran status, making sure that these organizations are in one easily accessible platform, okay, so that all of these people can get access to needed resources in their community to thrive, okay? And so it's not a directory, it is a platform that they can put in their information, and it spits out organizations in their area that are going to help them get to where they need to go. Everything is tracked, so there's accountability. We know outcomes of these referrals. We don't just give phone numbers, we don't just give websites. And then we have a human component as well with our intake teams that talk to the clients and family members all day, every day, to make sure they're squared away. So through our technology and methods, we were able to develop the first state. Texas likes to be first. We just celebrated Independence Day, Texas Independence Day, but Texas was the first state to have an integrated system statewide for all of these vetted, best-in-class providers, and getting our veterans and military families access to resources.
That is simply outstanding, and it came up in conversation just this past week. One of the keys is that term that you use, vetted, because unfortunately, there's just too many bad apples out there. But let's not focus on the bad apples. Let's focus on the programs that you're working with. Gus, talk to us a little bit, because you have an extensive background in working with veterans, what we call veteran service organizations. How did you come to Combined Arms? And then let's spin that off and talk about specifically the Texas Veterans Network, and then how that applies nationally.
So thank you again for having us, Jim, Chuck. It's great seeing you guys. My background, served in the Army, was active duty. After leaving active duty, I went into I served in the New York City Police Department for over 20 years, including service on September 11th, 2001. Obviously, that changed our country, where you had a lot of young men and women join the military because what happened on September 11th. While in the NYPD, we went into Afghanistan, Iraq, and just from previous times where, like, for example, like Vietnam, veterans came back. I got involved with volunteering up in New York at the time, going to Walter Reed and Bethesda Naval Hospital at the time, visiting all these guys and girls that were originally coming back from Afghanistan. Fast forward to 2012, when I retired from the NYPD, I moved here to Texas, and I started volunteering with several veteran service organizations, and that's how it all started back in 2012. Just connecting veterans with different resources, and you start with one and just work into another one, and it was just it's a learning process. Not one veteran non-for-profit could do everything. You have to collaborate, and that's that's how I got involved with Combined Arms. I like what they do, and I've been doing it now for a year and a half. I have a great co-worker, Megan, up here in North Texas, but now we're bringing it to a national level. It started here in Texas, the technology, but now we're in Louisiana, we're in South Carolina, and it's definitely working out.
So Megan, if you will, talk a little bit about how the network works, and then if I understand this correctly, we're kind of almost franchising this into other states, but talk about how any veteran nationally can plug in.
Yes, and you have it just about right there. So we started this model, here in Texas 3 years ago to build out the Texas Veterans Network. And you first have to get your organizations in the network, right? You can't start serving the community till you have the resources to refer them to. So we had the technology and that whole vetted aspect, right? Vetting the organizations that come into the network is a huge aspect of what we do. And so there are thousands of organizations just in Texas that can say when they register as a 501c3 that they serve the veteran community. But what does that mean? How are they serving them? Are they doing it financially, ethically, morally, responsibly? So we have our due diligence process that any organization that wants to become a member in the network has to go through this due diligence process. Now, to clarify, everything is free. Okay, we're fully funded. We have state backing and all of our funding from other entities. So for people to come into the network and be a member, there's no fees or anything of the sort. So people kind of get, they're like, what's the catch? No, there's no catch. We're vetting you to make sure that when we send a referral for a client that we just talked to and heard their whole story, that you're going to do what you say you're going to do when we send that referral, right? So we look at their history of financials. We look at board members. We look at previous any litigation aspects that may have happened. We look at previous grants that they've received. How well did they perform with those? Community reviews, how active and well known are they in the community? You know, are they a team player, or are they still working kind of in the old school silo? You know, because our whole goal is to bring together the communities of organizations to work together to make the largest impact. So no more competition of who's doing what, or who has how much money, who's doing it really well, has the passion, and is active in the community and wants to work together with people. So that model, you know, yeah, we have technology and that can be duplicated, right? So that's where we say powered by Combined Arms. Texas Veterans Network is powered by Combined Arms. Louisiana Veterans Alliance is now powered by Combined Arms. South Carolina Veterans Alliance, I may not have that name correct, but is powered by Combined Arms. So we have a expansion team that goes to these other states. You identify a really healthy nonprofit serving the veteran community and teach them how to develop their statewide network, how to go to the state and get the backing and support from them, how to raise the other funds, and then how to build out your community with an actual brick and mortar building, coordination center, intake team, regional managers, all of those things, and build it out and duplicate it.
Megan, what are some of the resources? You're talking about providing resources. Mm-hmm. Can you give me some of the resources that are provided? For instance, like some of these people do job placement or certifications or specialized training. What are some of the things that they do? In other words, if I wanted to go get CPR training, you've got some place to plug me in, correct?
Oh, definitely. So we have some main service categories, and then there's subcategories within those, but let's just take career services, for instance. So let's, a veteran goes to our site and they're looking for help with resume building. Well, is it a civilian resume or is it a federal resume that they're looking for help with? Or do they need both, right? Because they're two very different things. So they either can go to our website and self-navigate by creating the profile based on their profile responses, which shows the geographic area they're in. They basically get a list of organizations that are built out that cover their area, and they can start clicking on, I need resume, I need federal resume, I need help with my work attire or attire for an interview, right? We have organizations that are helping with that professional clothing, or it may not be the professional clothing. It may be like warehouse stuff and work boots, steel-toed work boots that you need in order to get this job. And so they select these organizations that are offering these different programs, all nonprofit programs that are going to be free to the transitioning service member, the service member that's 20 years out, or that veteran spouse that is looking to re-enter the workforce. So once they see these lists of organizations in their area, they can kind of put it in their cart, so to say, and then check out. When they check out, it sends a direct referral to that organization. And our organizations sign MOUs with us, memorandums of understanding, that they're going to respond to that referral, that client, within 72 business hours. That's our stamp guarantee.
So Megan, I want to quickly, before we take our first break, come back to a point that you just made. Whether it's a veteran that's just gotten out, whether it's a veteran that's 20 years out, whether it's a veteran spouses, your network is serving all of those, correct?
Everyone. And so we can circle back on that, but we don't limit who we are serving. It can be the caregiver. We have a whole new program that we're serving as well. But yeah, we're going to help anyone that comes to us that is military connected. Doesn't matter their status.
That is a great thing. So when we come back, we're going to talk about Combined Arms, but the Texas Veterans Network and all of this and how you can grow it and how you can plug in and where you need to go. So you want to go take a look at Combined Arms US. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show. And thanks to our sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Now, let's continue this great conversation. Hey, you're on board with Jim and Chuck, and we're talking with Gus Cabarcas and Megan Heil of the Combined Arms US. We want you to go to combinedarms.us. Also, there is a great phone number. If you need to get some information, it's 888-737-3112. That's 888-737-3112. And for our audience that's television or YouTube, all of this is being put up by Nathaniel on our board here so you can see where to go.
And again, Nathaniel, if you'll scroll down just a little bit.
So, Megan, let's continue. And Gus, let's continue this conversation. So in many other states, I know in the state of Texas, for instance, we have the state paid or county paid veteran service officers that are VA accredited reps that have the ability to help someone navigate the VA healthcare system and the VA benefits. What we don't have in other states is that same state paid for generated service. You've got then you're building a network to where you can plug somebody in to a VA accredited rep. Louisiana, you mentioned South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got states that really, I mean, I've run into this before, and there are organizations that are really outstanding, like your American Legion or your VFW, who's got a VA accredited reps. So people need to know nationwide, this is not just a Texas deal. This is a nationwide deal. So wherever you are, you can plug in here.
Exactly. So we have, I believe, just over 50 national organizations covering down various service categories of resources that we have. And VA benefits is huge. It is our second top requested resource. Currently, right now, we usually run like a quarterly report that's showing what our top 5 requested resources are, and help with initially enrolling in the VA or starting a VA claim, being stuck in your claim or having to do an appeal, and even surviving spouse benefits. Okay. All of those things, super challenging to deal with, a little bit difficult at the VA if that's your only option to go to. And so, yeah, there's these veteran benefit certified folks all over the country. And some might be those county veteran service offices and some may not. They might be your local VFW, American Legion, or other national partners. Here in Texas, we're lucky to have Texas Veterans Commission that we refer to often, and their healthcare advocate program as well. That is a huge benefit to us here. But again, we in Texas like to set the tone, right? So if any other states are listening, want to know how to do this, please reach out, because there are other options to get help with all of your VA stuff.
And as Megan and Gus both know, but I'll throw it out there, especially because this week I was in Austin. I volunteer on the Fund for Veteran Assistance Committee, and we are going to portion out $30 million this year to Texas veteran service organizations and organizations that serve veterans. So, for example, I know you are in close partnership with the United Way of Tarrant County, the United Way of Texas, and then several of the other United Ways are grant recipients from us. TVN is a grant recipient from us, and we're very proud of that. And I get to look at your numbers, so I know you're performing well. But this is all very, very important. And one thing I wanted to make to Jim's point, as best as possible, there's a lot of people who can log on to the VA website. There aren't that many of them that are accredited representatives. Obviously, all of our county veteran service officers are accredited. Another program that is, it's not totally unique to Texas, but Texas has a very vibrant program. And there we go. We get the music coming up again. Well, we're about to take another break.
When we come back, also, I want to talk about, again, this, because there is a VA accredited rep. And then if you've got other real serious problems, estate planning problems, tax filings, there are VA accredited reps who are attorneys.
Yep.
And a VA accredited rep cannot charge you for getting you into the VA healthcare system, but you may have other issues that are far greater legally, and there are attorneys that can do that as well.
And this is where the Texas Veteran Network, powered by Combined Arms, I love that expression.
I do too.
Really provides a tremendous service. And I brought the website up, but I meant to bring up actually the TVN portion of it. We'll talk about that after the break.
All right.
Where the governor endorses y'all.
Yeah, this is the Veterans Network. Welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show. And thanks to our sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Now, let's continue this great conversation. Well, welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show. I'm Jim Blythe and Chuck Wright. Chuck, you are absolutely proof that a nearsighted seasick Marine can fly a helicopter.
I never should have shared. I never should have shared. I'm never going to hear the end of this.
Gus, he picks on me for being a sailor. And, you know, we didn't even talk about Army, but because you were a police officer in 9/11 in New York, I got so much respect for you guys and what you did.
And for our regular listeners, yes, you have heard Gus Cabarcas. We have had, he is absolutely from year one when we started this. I don't even know if we know how many years ago that was.
2015.
In 2015, we kicked all this off, and Gus Cabarcas was literally one of our first guests, one of our best guests. We have him on all the time. But the work that he's doing now, and that's what we really want to focus on today, is really he stepped it up a notch. This organization has stepped it up. A little bit of a shout out to my Marine brother and her husband down there. I guess she's a sister or brother. You know, it's all generic these days anyway. But Mia Garcia down in Houston, who's kind of ramrodding all of this. But just absolutely great work.
You know, another thing is looking at the website, and remember, we had the VA on not too long ago talking about isolation, talking about coming together as community, getting together and getting veterans out of isolation. Because one of the biggest problems, 87% of many of your medical problems really are in the mind. And what's happening is a lot of veterans are in fact isolating and not getting what they need. So by having this service, you can connect veterans with organizations, with groups, with social functions, but the opportunity to network and be around other like-minded military, that's a big, big deal in my opinion.
So I want to jump over. It was a conversation that I had yesterday. If you can see me, you'll notice I'm wearing the 10th year anniversary Carry the Load shirt. And we're going to be talking about Carry the Load several times in the next couple of weeks. But I was talking to a lady that I'm going to plug into Megan and Gus. But I'm going to go off a little minorly on a tangent because we talk about the VA and one tends to think about healthcare. But we have a lot of especially older veterans that because they've gotten older, they don't move as well, that unfortunately Jim and I and Gus know about that real well. Megan, you're going to get there one of these days, but you're too young now. But it's hard to get around. And they may have gone from where they could go down steps to where they can't, and they need a ramp. So we have organizations that will, and you can do this. There's 360 degrees in a circle. And this is one of the things about Combined Arms. What if you need access to that? What if you need access to Meals on Wheels? So if you guys will talk a little bit about some of the let's kind of move away from healthcare just a little bit and talk about some of the other things you do, education, all of that.
Yeah, man.
I've stumped him.
Yeah. So, getting back to what we were talking earlier, you'd be surprised how many veterans I run into where they're not registered with the VA. And the other thing I run into is a lot of them are paying someone to file their VA claims, which is crazy. I just recently ran into a veteran where the guy told him, hey, just give me $1,600. I'll file the claims for you. Oh, yeah.
We don't want that. We don't want that.
We don't want that.
There's so many, so many community resources we can connect them to for those things. But then, Chuck, you get the questions all the time of home repair, home modification, right? And who do they reach out to? How do they know something isn't a scam, right? Because some people out there, not on the up and up, they know there are government, federal, state grants to help with home repair and home modification. So they'll advertise, that, oh, we'll get reimbursed. Let us give you a quote. We'll do the work and help you submit the paper for those grants. That is untrue. There are nonprofits that are recipients of those grants. They will do the work. They have their approved and vetted contractors, but they will do the work. Let the nonprofits who have been awarded those grants to come in and do the assessments on whatever the modifications need to be, or home repairs, things like that. So they come into the network, whether they call us, whether they're referred in, whether they self-navigate on the site. There's no wrong door. It's under our financial assistance category, and it's home repair, home modification. And we match the clients with the organization that is covering their area that has a grant for those services. Now,
Megan, what I was going to say, and if I can jump in for just a second, what we're doing by that one-stop portal to get a veteran plugged in, it is amazing. As I listened to 2 days worth of grant request presentations, how often they focus on one of their biggest challenges is outreach, finding that veteran. So
yes, when we so part of Gus and I's job is we're community outreach, but we are doing outreach with the organizations and learning about what they are doing. Gus, are y'all still there?
Yeah.
Looks a little frozen. I'm going to keep talking, assuming people can hear me, because they might be frozen, but I don't see Gus and I frozen.
We are ahead of a talent. Can
you hear us, Chuck?
I think they're trying to get back.
Yeah.
Again, we talk to the organizations who received those grants for those home repairs, home modifications, and they're telling us it's difficult to find veterans that need this service. And so we go out in the community events, and we try to help educate the military community that there are resources for them, and they need to tell us, what is it that you need? We have organizations to help. Oh goodness.
I think they're coming back.
The countdown's still on there, so I'm gonna assume we're still live. I'm not sure, but I don't want dead air. Technology is great when it works, right? We say that all the time.
Yeah.
Because we have our technology with our platform and referral system, and y'all, we get glitches. We get glitches often, but we have an amazing tech team that's there to help fix it. But we're always like, it's the way of the future, but it works great when it works, right? Have you heard back from them?
No, I just texted them.
It says we're live still, y'all. I don't know.
Yeah, we're still live because I just checked on Facebook.
We're still live. Okay. Yeah. So it's now the Megan and Gus show on the Veterans Impact Show, talking about Combined Arms and our services. But plain and simple, y'all, whoever is listening to us right now, if you are a veteran family member, spouse, dependent, caregiver,
so
did they
Chuck
reach out?
Just texted me. Their internet went down. We're trying to get back on. Stand by.
But we're still live because you checked, right?
Yes.
Oh goodness. Okay. So yeah, we something that Jim had touched on earlier is we serve everyone that comes to us. We're gonna help you navigate the services. They're trying. So you may be like, oh, I wonder if there's help for this. You don't have to wonder. Please reach out. We have.
Chuck, Houston.
They're working on it.
A few edits. So for our last.
They're working on it, y'all. They're working on it. So again, even though we're in Texas and we have a statewide program, like we said, we have national organizations, some wonderful national organizations that are providing resources to anybody that comes through our platform. We are constantly growing, looking at other states to infiltrate and implement this. And so it does not matter where you're listening from. Please go to our website. You can create a profile in about 3 to 4 minutes and start navigating resources that are available to you. These can be career services, mental health, help with education benefits for yourself, your spouse, your kiddos, and social activities. It could be volunteerism. You may want to give back to your community and volunteer or get involved as a mentor, and anything to connect with. There's all kinds of programs on there.
So I just checked with Chuck. Yeah, they're trying to get back on.
No worries. We're still assuming we're live, and they can. Live is live, right? And they'll edit this probably to put out a little better later. But I'm like, live is live, and I know you don't want dead air, and you may not want to hear me ramble. But
let me check.
Yeah. So let's see. Hoping they respond to us. We're still live. Oh boy. Okay. Gus, why don't you talk about an example of somebody that you were able to help out recently?
So I was at an event, veterans event, and I was approached by lady who started telling me about her sister's husband, who having some issues with some PTSD. Gentleman served in the Army. He was did 3 tours in Iraq. Never registered with the VA. He just wanted to stay, in his own lane. And they were having some marital issues. And basically, I did what's called a quick connect. We have an app on our phone, and I was connected him with our intake team. Since he lived here locally in the area, our intake team reached out to him. Now, our intake team is also predominantly all veterans or caregivers of veterans, and they reached out to the veteran and connected him with some some mental health services. I get a message on Facebook from the lady that I originally spoke to, and just thanking me for her sister's doing a lot better with with her husband. So it's stuff like that. I mean, there's a lot of resources out here. There's a lot of just got to know how to get plugged in. And if you're a veteran out there that's looking to get connected, it's one way to get. You got to stay connected, and everything's about collaboration. That's my whole. If anything you get out of this, it's collaboration and networking.
That's right. That's really how Combined Arms has built out this network, and how we've built out the different regions across Texas is collaboration with the local organizations down to the ones.
Hey, they're back.
Hey,
we're back.
We're back.
Hey, you know what's really impressive? Because we were tracking this on Facebook, and we don't know what happened. But you guys don't need us.
Yeah, you're still on.
You're running your own show. This is going to be
Maybe it was like,
going to put the gas on. And,
hey,
I love it. Yeah, absolutely love it.
One of the things that you said, and we're going to take a quick break. I think we're going to have to restructure some of this to add back in. So when we come back, I want to talk about how we can help you and plug in, because you said that it's the same problem the VA's got. How do we reach more veterans? How do we let people know? And let me tell you, the other thing is, in my job, I do reach a lot of veterans, and many of them have so many misconceptions about VA healthcare system or VFW or American Legion. Misinformation is just, it's kind of like you give a sailor a story and it'll turn into a story. So, guys,
we can vouch for that. Little shout out to Joe Dunleavy for letting us know that, you guys were still broadcasting.
Here we go.
That's great.
Here we go. We'll be right back. Veterans Impact Show.
So I should be able to, if they're still streaming.
Welcome back to the Veterans Impact Show.
Cool.
Thanks to our sponsors, Fairway Independent Mortgage and Lone Star Wealth Strategies. Now, let's continue this great conversation. Well, I got to tell you, this has been a great day. We've had Facebook keep going. Our internet went down, but everything kept going. This is going to be an interesting show to edit. I can't wait.
It'll be fun to edit, and we've been replaced.
I think so.
The guests can run their own show. We'll introduce them, and then we're just going to sit back and shut up.
And you drink your coffee.
And I'm going to drink my coffee, and hopefully we'll get Dunkin' Donuts to sponsor us.
All right, let's go back real quick, because what we want every veteran, every spouse, everyone to know, or family members of a veteran. I frequently get calls from family members of veterans saying, my father served in Korea. My father served in World War II. My father served in Vietnam. We need to help him. Combined Arms US is a place to go. That is a website to go to start getting national service. You're in several states and you're expanding to all of them. And this is a huge opportunity to be able to help that veteran with many services, correct?
Yes. CombinedArms.us is our site. And yes, we have been working tirelessly over the past 3 years to get that word out. We launched this program, at the very beginning of the pandemic, not knowing pandemic was going to hit, right? So that was the challenge of how do we get the word out about this program we just created. And now we are running at the speed of light, trying to get the word out. So different ways that we do it is this example, podcast. We do presentations often, presentations to different audiences, because we're trying to capture every service member or veteran or family member at whatever phase in life they're at right now. So we do presentations to active units, reserve units, TAPS classes. Then we'll do presentations at American Legions and VFWs. We'll do presentations at senior care centers. And then we're doing them at corporations with large veteran employees. So the veteran employee groups. And then we're out in community events and job fairs, but it is spreading the word, getting more partners in our network. They learn about us and then they put in referrals for their clients. And so, yeah, we're just constantly looking to spread the word. And we have expansion teams who are doing this for the other states as well.
Well, let's give out that. Hang on, Chuck. Let's give out that number again. You want to call them? It's 888-737-3112. That's 888-737-3112, and that's Combined Arms US. Excuse me. Now, what were you going to say?
Well, what I was going to say is, expanding on that, you can find both the Texas Veterans Network and Combined Arms on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I'm going to assume you're on Instagram. I'm obviously not. It's one of the things we're going to have to learn. But they're out there. Plug into these guys. And this is for our regular listeners. And I'll tell you another thing and I know Gus loves this, because Gus loves nothing better than standing up in front of a group to talk. But tell him about your organization and have him come make a presentation so we understand what it is. And this is not just, again, like we said, just a Texas thing, but I love social media because, hey, it's free. And B, its reach is intergalactic. Well, I understand we have veterans from the Martian Army that plug in.
Okay.
Well, you got to do something for the Space Cadets. The Space Force.
All right. I tell you what, let's do. Let's bring this program into the dock and just say thank you so much to Gus Cabarcas and Megan Heil, Combined Arms US and the Texas Veterans Network. This is a great thing. Look it up. Take this podcast and share it. Get it out there. Help people to find out. You may not be a veteran, but if you know a veteran who needs help, or you know a veteran needs plugging in, share this with them. So I always close with a prayer. So let's say, dear Lord, we thank you for all of our veterans in active duty and you protecting them, and for our first responders, men like Gus Cabarcas and all he has done, from New York to the Army to being here in Texas. God, we're so thankful, and we honor them, and we honor your holy name. This we pray. Amen. Guys, we're so thrilled to have you. And again, we're sorry about some of the technical difficulties. It'll be interesting to see how this one gets all
comes
edited.
Out in the editing.
Yeah, really. It'll be amazing.
Everybody will make notes that they liked it better without the two of us.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Guys, thank you. And next week, we've got a great program coming up. Chris Hoffman, the Ambitious Vet Network.
Yep.
Oh, that's
sure
going to be fun.
We know Chris. We know Chris very well.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's do that. We'll see you next week. This is the Veterans Impact Show. Veterans Impact Show. Look us up. We're here for you. Thank you for being aboard.
Thank you.